Yeah. Life. Life is the only thing we
Let's
need.
let's go. Happy Saturday, everybody. This is Saluting Success. I'm here with the lovely Matt Clanton and Jimmy Barrientos. This is where we create financial opportunities to hopefully create financial freedom for our active duty service members and our veterans. So without further ado, man, let's touch base. We got Jimmy over here. Jimmy, I'm going to put you in the hot seat, man.
Let's do it.
Let's tell us a little about yourself, a little bit about your career, man.
All right, so born and raised in Dallas, Texas. Joined at 18, typical high school student. You know, I had dreams to go to school and all that, and then ended up joining the Marine Corps at 18. And
I'm sorry.
kind of, yeah, I know, I'm still here, right? And fast forward, almost 21 years, almost to the day, or actually next month, September, will be 21 years for me now. So still enjoying it, still kicking it, still able to keep up with the guys. So I feel like I still have more to give, So
Nice.
Still doing it.
So you got in what year?
So actually, everyone came in at an interesting time, right?
Yeah.
But I joined right after July 4th of 2001, right? So after the weekend, went down to Maps, did the whole swearing thing, boom, joined.
You probably left in like a week.
Yeah.
They're like, hey,
Actually,
by the way, we got a position open in Fallujah.
It's specifically about that, right? So that's before the war kicked off.
Yeah.
So that was in July. In September 11th happened. And so that's the week I was supposed to go to boot camp. And the ones I remember, right, there was no flights during that. They canceled all
Everything,
during that time. So I had to wait about a week and a half. So I ended up going to boot camp September 24th. And I will never forget when September 11th happened. My mother, told me, hey, like all this stuff is going on. Like, are you sure you still want to do this?
Yeah.
At the time, I was like, Mom, like I signed. I'm supposed to go, right?
Bad
I have no
vibes.
choice. Right. But yeah, so there was like a good gut check, and ended up taking off, and here we are.
Damn, man. So when did you
pretty
enlist, man?
Dude, I'm not as old as this guy. I
look old.
Yeah.
I just look old.
There it is.
It's gone.
Like Trev said, he was getting a haircut yesterday. I'm like, bro,
Must
rub
be
it in.
nice,
Must
bro.
be nice, bro, to need a haircut.
Pay for a haircut.
Yeah, I haven't needed a haircut since like 07, like my or 08 or whatever, my second appointment at Fallujah. But like, dude, September 12th, 2005, I stepped foot on the Yellow Footprints.
Okay.
So not too far off from you, man. Like 12 days or something, and then 4 years or something.
Yeah, bro.
3 years, something like that. Whatever. Bad math, quick math. Not my.
Do you think you guys touch base at all? I mean, you guys might have crossed paths. Where you were stationed at?
I don't. We briefly talked.
Dude, I went to Fallujah 07, 08?
I was in Iraq
07
in
and 08.
04.
I was in middle school.
Yeah, I was the
Darn.
second CB. So I was with second CB, got attached to 2.6 or 3.6, my first one. And then one of the vice versa. Or the
Wow.
other, I don't know, whichever one the second
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So we went for 7.5 months as an admon or whatever. So I was there for like 8 months. And then come back for 4 months. Had my daughter 3 days after I got home from Fallujah my first time. Did a workup, went back out to 29 Palms for a month or whatever it was at Camp Wilson. And then literally like stepped foot back in the same spot in Fallujah and Ramadi
Damn,
and stuff.
man.
Like 3-4 months later.
Yeah. So I was there in Iraq in 04. Right. So if you guys are familiar with Medal of Honor recipient, Corporal Dunham.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I learned
was
about
in
him.
Kirkush. So I was maybe not too far. Distance is in no good ways, but I was there during that same time frame. He got his medal for these actions for the Medal of Honor.
Dude.
Wow.
So Dunham, I recruited up in Buffalo, New York in
I did too.
2012. Dude, maybe that's why you look familiar. What years?
2007, 2010.
Nope. I was there 12 to 15.
Yeah. So
I was in Tonawanda.
Yeah. So I was in Jamestown.
Okay. Yeah.
But I recruited out of Dunkirk.
Bro, I know Dunkirk. I was actually the station commander of. So anyway, I was a canvassing recruiter. I was a recruiter man, right?
Yeah.
And then I went on to be a station commander, and they put me in charge of everybody from Hamburg.
Yeah.
So it was like Nickel City,
Yep.
all the way down to Erie, Pennsylvania. So I had Dunkirk.
yeah.
I had freaking Olean, dude. We had this big black recruiter named McDonald. Shout out to Gunnery Sergeant McDonald. He's still in the Corps to this day.
Moto.
Looking Jabbing, bro. Shout out to you, big dog. But dude, he was in Olean, and you know Olean.
I know McDonald.
Get out of here, bro.
Boom.
Admin guy.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in 29 pounds right now.
Yes.
Yeah,
I was talking to him the other day.
I know
Big
this
dude.
guy.
He's a
Yeah,
big dude.
Good dude.
And
Good dude.
motivator, bro. He's all
Good
about
dude.
the core. He's all about taking care of Marines and motivation.
We got to get him on the podcast, man.
We got to get him on the podcast. He'd be a good character. So, anyway, McDonald was in freaking Olean. If you know Olean, dude, it's like nothing. It's like this little mountain town in southern, like, no, is it northern Pennsylvania? Or is it like right on the border of New York?
like, border.
Yeah. Dude, I'm talking, they had never seen a black dude before in their life.
Oh, dude.
Like, it was wild.
Yeah.
But he killed it. He killed it because they loved him. They wanted to
Hell
see
yeah.
him. Like, you know?
I was one of the darkest guys in my town. And it's
Really?
called villages, right?
That's
I recruited
crazy.
from like Ellicottville, Silver
I know.
Creek.
Oh, bro, Ellicottville, yeah.
Brockton, you know, all the way up to Angola to Lakeshore.
Yep.
I mean, all that area was.
It's
mine.
like all lakefront, or you know,
Yeah.
they call it beaches, but it's
That's
not
not,
beaches.
I
but
mean,
it's a lake.
is it beautiful, though?
No.
No,
Oh.
we get like the lake effect snow. You know, it
Yeah,
snows
yeah,
And you got to think too, it was like huge during the industrial area.
Yeah.
Like era. And then Buffalo just
Super
kinda
blue
like,
collar
So I think
area.
they had the engine factory manufacturer.
Oh yeah. It's not Ford.
Cummins.
Yeah.
Is it?
I don't know. Maybe. I wasn't too
forgot.
familiar with it, bro. I just know they had the DuPont paint place up
Yeah.
there in like Buffalo or
Yeah,
somewhere like north
it
of
was.
it.
It was not.
It smelled
your,
like crap.
sexy like. Area, I'm gonna go
Dude,
recruit.
and-
But that's
it's
still
like-
good, though. That's still good. You know what I mean?
And
Like,
honestly, I tell you what. Like for me, at least, you know, when I went to recruiting school, I wanted to go back to Texas, right? Because that's my hometown, and you know that's why I wanted to go to recruit.
For
at,
sure, dude.
Back in my home high school, if I preferred. And just like typical, I thought I had a
Same.
binding request, right?
Me too, dude.
Yeah, I did not. And next you know, like, hey, you're going to first district, which is you know, in
Bro,
Buffalo.
the second they said first district, I was sitting there and
I was
like,
heartbroken.
oh man.
I was heartbroken
Because I had heard it's
Yeah.
like miserable,
Yeah.
cold.
Well,
they got worked to death back then
Well,
too.
for me, I was like, where's Dunkirk, New York? You know, so I literally had to go to, you know, I call it Gunny Google knows everything, right?
Yeah.
So I go to Google and I type in like Dunkirk, and like, where the heck is? I see the
It's a
satellite
blur-
image. It just vegetation. Like there's no like highways. I'm like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah,
here?
dude.
And I was like, I was
That's
like, Amish towns, you know, carts going down the road.
awesome. That's
It's
crazy.
But what it did for me was it actually allowed me to see a different perspective. Say, you know what? If I can, you know, kind of like McDonald, right? If I can go into this community where I'm one of the darkest people there and perform and still, you know, get what I need to get, then I know I can do it anyway
Hell yeah.
with my people,
Hell
right?
yeah.
With
Bro.
my people, right? So that's how I kind of approached it. You know,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna take it for what it is and see what happens.
I love it, man.
and-
So let's pivot, man. So we're talking about recruiting duty.
Yeah.
We're talking about being successful on recruiting duty, especially when you're facing adversity of being a person of color or doing whatever. How do you think that translates to you and your success going further in your Marine Corps career?
So to kind of tie back into about, you know, growing up, right? I think a lot of times, you know, at least in the Hispanic community, or maybe in general, right? But I can speak for my Hispanic, you know, culture is that we're raised to like go to school, get a degree, get a good job, right? And I think that mentality I've learned to change, not to my kids. Now, hey, if you decide to go to school, which I don't think is a primary thing you have
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Go
Yeah.
get a trade school. Like go to trade school.
I love that.
We're about
yeah.
to talk about that in a minute. Too.
100%, dude.
Current events.
But
Yes.
I tell them like, look, whatever you decide to do, make sure you're happy with it. But whatever you do, be the owner, right? There's a quote that, you know, I don't know who said it, right? But it's go out and build your dreams before someone hires you to build theirs.
I said that.
Oof.
That was
Right?
me.
So
That was yeah.
that was you, right? Oh, so that's where I got it.
It's a
right?
tramp stamp on your back right there.
That's where the approach I kind of take with my kids. I'm like,
love
hey,
it.
look, you can go out and build someone else's dreams, or you can go hire someone to build yours, right? So why not be the owner? Why not be the decision maker?
Yeah.
In the process, right?
I love it,
So
dude.
so again, the background that kind of, you know, didn't have that role model. If you say, you know, that experience, someone that knew what there was, you know, how to change their life,
Yeah.
how to change the cycle
Yeah.
of thinking, right?
That's it.
Right, it's all a
Changing, yeah.
mindset, really. It's a mindset. But you know, take that in the Marine Corps, you know, and putting me on recruit duty in the middle of nowhere, and then the Marine Corps experience in itself is the leadership piece. It kind of made me say, you know what? Okay, I need to change how I do things.
That's it.
To try to break the cycle and become better.
Bro, communication and expectations. That's the two biggest things I can take away from what you said. Like, it changed me in the way I think it changed you. And I wasn't even in a place where I was like a minority.
Yeah.
Like let's be honest, bro. I was in Tonawanda. I was in Lockport. Like I was the normal dude out there.
Yeah.
I sound like them,
Yeah.
for Christ's sake. You know what I mean? Like, hey, y'all. That's just how they talk. But dude, I stay in contact with the kids I recruited.
That's
I was the
awesome.
number one recruiter, bro. I was meritoriously promoted. I was recruiter of the year. Did phenomenal out there. But it wasn't because of that. It was because I learned how to communicate. It was because I learned how to manage expectations. And I think you can agree. And it sounds like it did it for you too. It made it so much easier to come back to the fleet and get what you wanted out of your Marines. But not just like, hey, I'm going to use you for what I want, but to encourage them and to be that leader to say, hey, here's what you should do for you, but let me lead you on how to do that. Because that was the biggest takeaway for me, bro.
So-
People follow me to hell and back.
Yeah.
Your biggest thing that you say from recruiting is something that I think Jimmy would definitely love to hear. You always talk about you hate the word sell. You hate the word sell because you want to educate, and you push that heavy on me because I did 8 years, but the thing was my last couple of years. Remember, I drank the Kool-Aid heavy for DI. I want to be a DI dude so bad. Yellow footprints. I wanted the frog voice. I wanted all that. You know what I mean? But when it came down to it, and Jimmy saw the way that I led, he brought me in his office as Chief Warrant Officer Barrientos. And he sat me down and he's like, dude, you got to go recruiting, bro. And I would have loved to do it because of the way that this man kind of ran the shop. You know what I mean? I would have loved to emulate what you taught me on that. But, you know,
bro, I can kick you in your nuts and make you do anything I want to do.
I love that.
But
you've done it. No, I was kidding.
Like last week.
Yeah.
But no, for real, bro. You understand this. There's a time and place for that, right?
Yes.
Especially in the Corps. Maybe not other branches so much, but in the Corps, there's definitely a time and place for like, let me kick your ass and get you in gear and let's light a fire and make this happen.
Absolutely.
Because that's the type of energy we need in the type of theater that we work in and operate in.
Yeah.
But there's also that and all my Marines that are watching this, man, that knew me, that followed me in the Marine Corps, especially when I came off recruiting duty, and I'm sure you can attest to this, they would follow me to hell and back, dude. They would, because I gave them the truth, and I gave it to them in a way that wasn't belittling. It wasn't like a DI where we're going off and saying like, hey, dumbass, like, you know, come over here faster. Like, for what?
Run.
You know what I'm saying? Like, for what, bro?
Yeah,
like,
no, I agree.
Let's sit down. Let me teach you something. And I think it really just shifted my mindset to be successful when I got out, man. And I know you're going to experience that.
No,
Like,
I think that speaking of Marines specifically, right? They look for someone that's genuine, right?
Yes.
You know, tell me when I'm fucked up. Tell me when I'm doing good, right? Or just sometimes let's remove the Marine Corps piece and just tell me about life,
that's it.
right? Just tell me about life.
The accountability aspect is crucial.
We touched on that last week, man. It's funny that you said that because I had a sergeant major that came from the recon community, and anytime I would talk to the Marines in the 3 shop, because I ran the 3 shop in my last unit, and anytime I talk about anything outside the Marine Corps,
They
this
loved
dude
it,
would
bro.
come out, bro,
Yeah.
and he would be like, "Hey, Staff Sergeant Clinton, hey, just keep it about the Marine Corps, bro. Keep it about the Marine Corps."
I hate
bro.
that,
That's
man.
the
You need to
worst
be
thing you can do.
I hate
teaching these
that.
Marines about the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
Kick some Marine Corps knowledge, and I'm like, bro, I'm teaching about things that they still to this day hit me up and talk to me about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I've been out since 2018, and these Marines still talk to me every single day. Bro, I could show you so many
and it
messages.
kills me. So this, ironically, just yesterday on Friday, I was talking to a Lance Corporal. And we're talking about real estate, right? And I want to kind of bring this into real estate, but it was exactly that. Marine Corps doesn't teach us about real estate.
Not at all, bro.
No.
They don't teach
No,
us
it's
about thinking outside the box of progressing outside of the Marine Corps. Meaning, you can progress by go to
Run your
courses,
PFT faster.
run
Yeah,
faster,
yeah.
do more pull-ups, do whatever, right? But there's some things that we need to teach because
That's not going to translate to
I
the real world.
was an 18-year-old kid that joined.
Yeah.
That didn't have that role model. They didn't have that example to follow. Besides, work hard and earn your paycheck.
Yeah.
Right. So what did I do? Like in fast forward is now I'm like, hey, Lance Corporal, you might want to do this.
I love that.
I like it, man, because think about it like this, dude. There's this information and knowledge gap for most of us that join straight out of high school from 18 to blank, however
Yeah.
long you stay in, where everybody in the real world is progressing and as like fathers and husbands or moms and teachers and homeowners and whatever else, right? They're like learning shit.
Yeah.
Whereas we're just like, run
Marine,
faster,
Marine.
idiot.
Yeah.
Like,
Marine
Marine,
Corps.
Marine.
Yeah.
So it's like this. So when you get out, you're like, wait a minute, this is all black space, dude. I have no idea how to be a person.
My biggest thing when I was caveating off that, was when I started opening, broadening my horizon with real estate, that was more so my vehicle. There was a ceiling in the Corps, or I guess in the military in general, where when you started asking for that guidance, and because your higher ups didn't know, they really shut it down.
Bro.
And so it really kept you tunnel vision on what exactly you were saying, to drink the Kool-Aid
That
more,
is-
because they didn't know about it. So they felt like belittled. Yeah.
Because that, this Marine staff sergeant or sergeant, whatever, right, is speaking knowledge that I have no idea about. So our major mentality is, you know what, let me shut it off.
Yeah, exactly.
And then let me talk about something that I know.
Yeah, exactly.
Something that I feel
Talk about
comfortable
me.
with. Yes.
Talk about what
Something
I've
that
done.
I can tell you, how to do. Because
And you know
that's
what, bro?
I-
Not everybody's like that.
No.
I met
Yeah.
I met some good
Absolutely.
people, and I'm not here to shit on the Marine Corps. I'm here to say, yes, this is a possibility. Yes, it does happen quite often, and we've all seen it in our career. But then you seek out people like, it's 3 of us sitting in this room right now that we're completely opposite.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So there are good people out there. There are people out there that want to progress Marines, and sailors and airmen and soldiers' knowledge. But you have to actively seek those guys out, because they're not going to come to you unless you're just really lucky.
Which
right?
is
You
true.
need to ask questions.
Like closed mouths, especially in the Marine Corps, closed mouths, they don't get fed. Like my last 6 months transitioning, I have such a good taste in my mouth with the military, because I've built a brand off the foundation of the military, because I had a command like
That's
Jimmy,
it.
So whenever I had to take my client phone calls or whatever, I would make sure my work absolutely came first with my staff sergeant cap on. But if I stepped outside, he really allowed me to have my window of opportunity open, because he knew that the Marine Corps wasn't forever for
That's
me.
it.
And a lot of people don't have that. And that's really unfortunate. And they always ask me for advice on how to create that, and it's tough. You know what I mean? It really is tough within those ranks to be able to separate your two lifestyles. But you did sign on the dotted line. You do have your government geared work that you have to do, but just being able to create those opportunities around that sphere of influence is so crucial to build
it's
a
important,
life
man.
outside
The Marine
the-
Corps is going
the
to
Marine
divorce you
Corps.
one day. The
It
military,
is, yeah.
in
It's
general, is
revolving
gonna
door, man.
divorce you one
Revolving
day.
door.
That's exactly what I tell Marines all the time, man. I'm like, look, I don't care if you do 4 years or 20 or 30 years.
Yeah.
Right? At some point, you have to put the uniform down.
Yeah.
Right. And I have Marines like, sir, how did you have those ribbons? How'd you get this ribbon? How did you have so many of this and that? Right. I'm like, bro, that's all great, but when I leave, no one's gonna care.
Yeah.
So
No one's gonna care.
caveating on that, Jimmy, when you first, so you came in the Marine Corps, like you said, you didn't have that role model. You were 18, you're kind of just gung ho going. When did you start transitioning to know, like, yo, I gotta get some other wealth outside of that biweekly paycheck?
It was a pivotal point for me, and it was at the age of 21, almost 22 years old. I had a chief warrant officer, just again talking outside Marine Corps matters, right? Just talking about life.
Yeah.
And it came out in conversation that he had all these houses in Louisiana, California, and so on and so forth, right? And I'm not talking about like 1 or 2. He had like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, hey, sir, like, how do you do that? Like, how do you manage that? Like, how do
Yeah.
you, and we were in Okinawa at the time,
Yeah.
right? So in my mind, I'm like, you're in a foreign country. How do you manage all these houses, right? So that's what really kind of shifted my focus. I'm like, man, you know what? I need to do something for myself.
That's it.
Love that.
So that's how I ended up buying my
Pandora's
first
box.
property.
Yeah. It's a scary feeling, though. Not
But that's
knowing
how I
where to
ended up
start.
buying my
Yeah.
first property.
Yeah.
It's because of that chief warrant officer. I'm like, man, like he's doing it with. I can at least do one.
If he can do it, why
Yeah.
not me?
Yeah.
That's the question.
Break that first property down.
So let me tell you, it's a scary. I don't recommend this, but it worked out, right? It worked out for everybody. Well, for me.
Do not try this at home.
Yeah, don't try this. Be smart about it. Learn from my mistakes. Not really a mistake. It's actually a good mistake. But so again, I'm in Okinawa. Right,
Yeah.
talking to him, and my leave was coming up. I was gonna go back to Texas and visit family. So I go back home and I bump into a realtor, just some Vietnamese realtor guy, short dude, good guy. And he's like, hey, looking for buying a house. I'm like, actually no, but I thought about it, and so he's showing me this. He made some appointments, we're showing me these properties, and
Oh, he hooked you.
well, the problem is that there was a lot of distressed properties, right? So I'm like, in my mind, talking to my chief warrant officer, I was like, I want something that's going to maintain itself to where I don't have to put too much money into it, right? So I was open kimono with them, like, hey, check it out, like I would love to do this, but I'm not trying to put money. Like I'm going to rent this property out.
Yeah, for sure.
This is before like real estate really picked up for the people, right?
Yeah.
This is
Information.
What year?
Information wasn't
This
just
is
flowing.
2006.
Okay.
Right before
So
the housing
everything
market,
was really
Yeah,
kind of starting to
right
decline.
before.
right before the housing market
Yeah.
went to crap, right? And anyway, so I get done with my vacation, say I buy the family, and I go back to Okinawa, didn't buy a house. He's still hitting me up, you know, like, hey, I found this property. I'm like, no, man, like that looks too distressed. I wasn't really like, I was entertaining it, but not actively entertaining it. Then one day he said, hey, I found your house perfect for you. I'm like, okay.
In Dallas, right?
It's outside of Dallas, outside of Fort Worth. It's in Haslett, Texas. But he sends me this blueprint. I'm like, what the heck? What the heck is this? He goes, oh, it's a model home. He goes, eventually they're gonna make one like this, right? I'm like, okay, so what are we talking about? So at the time, 2006, this house is 126.
Wow.
So I'm like, you know what?
Whoa.
And at the time, you know, but you know, back 2006, that was a lot of money.
Yeah, absolutely.
For someone that's never owned a house, right? So
And
I'm like,
what rank were you at the
I
time?
was a sergeant at the time, right? So I'm like, okay, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. I'm like, let's do it. So I went straight conventional loan.
Okay. 20%?
Or 5%.
So
Or 5,
it was 80-20, right?
Okay, he did it. Okay.
Yeah, so I did 2 loans,
first
80-20,
and second.
right? So the second mortgage, I was higher interest, by the way. But
For sure.
Anyways, so I bought the house. I was in Okinawa. Everything was mailed to me. I signed it, FedExed it back, and I gave a power of attorney to my father-in-law. He picked up the keys. And
I don't mean to stop you, but can you elaborate 80-20 real quick,
sure,
just for
absolutely.
listeners to be able to...
So typically, if you go buy a car, right, you get a loan and you get 100% of the loan of the car. So if it's worth 10 grand, you get 10 grand from the bank. You pay them back interest, and it's done.
Yep.
It's 100%. So typically, when people buy properties, they ask for 20% down. So when you don't have that 20%, you got to find another bank outside of the bank that already gave you the 80% loan to give you the other 20%.
Yep.
Which that other 20% is always higher interest than your 80% loan. So your 80% loan back then, it might have been like, I don't know, 4%, something like that, 4 or 5%. My 20% loan, I want to say, was probably close to the 10s, if not 12%, give or take.
Yeah, so to clear this up for everybody too, and I'll let you finish, and 80-20 is just a first and second, right? First position, second position lien, or second lien position. So the way that it is you're going to pay that second, you're going to pay the first and second, but he's saying the second position lien is going to be quite a bit higher. And we have these today, man. We have like 80-10-10s.
Yeah.
We have different things. But there are options for you guys, man. If you're looking to buy a conventional, home or whatever, it's an investment, definitely 20%. I'm going to tell you right now, for those of you watching, current times, 25% is where you want to be down right now, because it's going to be much more appetizing when it comes to interest rate.
Yes.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. No, so I mean, that's pretty much the breakdown of it, right? Of how I ended up buying my first property. And they had asked me, like, hey, you want to do your VA loan? And at the time, I was thinking, like, hey, I'm going to do it now 8 years, I'm going to get out.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm done. So I wanted to save my VA loan for my actual forever home, right? Like, hey, this is going to be my permanent home. This is where I'm going to use my VA loan. So I saved the VA loan. I didn't want to use it because at the time.
It's funny, bro, because I was thinking about that. I was like, wonder if he bought it with a VA loan.
That's
because check it out. You have to use it as a primary residence.
Yeah, you got to live in it at least
so
2 years.
So like back then, 06, they're probably like, send it.
Yeah.
Like,
When I
VA
remember-
loan, bro. Who cares if he lives
Well,
there?
I remember signing a disclosure, right, with a loan, the 80-20, saying, hey, you must live in the property, in primary residence. Sure, whatever.
For sure.
Yeah.
My mail will go there. My mail will
No,
go
I didn't
there.
do
I do not condone this.
I didn't do that.
I know.
So
Hey,
even better for you guys, right? So again, I'm in Okinawa, right? Bought the house, FedEx thing. Got the my phone-in-law signed for the keys for me.
Keep it going, boss. I'm going to use the restroom real quick.
I literally went on Google, right? Got to Google again. I went on Google and I searched property manager. That's all I did. Search property manager. Whoever's closest to that address is what I picked.
Nice.
And to this day, I've never met the property manager. I've never seen the property, and I've had tenants in it. And
Never seen the property
ever,
like in person.
ever. I seen it on Google. I seen the satellite images, brother. I've never seen this
Let's
property.
let's talk about the numbers, man, and the history behind this home. So you did an 80-20, right? You did the first and second lien position. What were your numbers at the time? You bought it for how much?
126.
126. Between your first and second, what were you paying a month?
I want to say it was. I think total I was paying like $1,400.
Okay, 13 or 14.
Yeah, collective.
Okay, and you put renters in it immediately.
Immediately, I mean, literally went on. The property manager looked it up, and she's like, "Hey, I'll email you something signed," and kind of getting like the power of attorney type of thing.
Yeah.
She published it, charged me the fees, and that was it.
And what were you paying for all the people listening? What were you paying for property management?
So
fees?
typical property manager is normally range around 10%, right? She was charging me 9%. She charged me 9%.
Nice.
So what that means for the guys, people listening, right, is they charge a percentage of, let's go with 10% whole numbers. So if my rent was $1,400,
Yeah.
they'll keep $140
There
as
you
their
go.
fees,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's their fee for managing the property, meaning that is their fee for being on the phone or when they get the phone calls, because property managers are responsible for. If there's a leak in the house, they'll find the plumber.
Yeah.
If there's an electrical problem, they find an electrician. If
they find tenants.
Yeah,
and they find
marketing
tenants.
the
They
property is
market it.
big. Yeah,
They
exactly.
run background checks. They
do
run credit
everything
checks.
for
They
you.
do
Credit-
everything.
credit
it is
checks,
very
yeah.
hands off. So essentially, I look at it as they're my employer.
Yeah.
I employ. I'm not my employee. I employ them to keep people in my house, keep it looking
100%.
presentable. So never.
So
be
this goes
afraid.
back to exactly what you were saying before, where you can either work for somebody or you can find
Absolutely.
somebody to work for you. You're saving your time. You're buying your time back.
Exactly.
In a tremendous way, because property management is not freaking easy.
No.
Let's
Yes.
be
No,
honest.
no.
So for those
it is a full-time
those of
job.
you watching again, property management is crucial if you're going to be doing other ventures, if you're going to be busy, you're going to be tied up, or you have a secondary or a primary career.
Yes.
Where you do not have the time to invest, you don't have the assets, you don't have the capacity to be taking phone calls at 2 a.m. when you have a PFT to run at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. So these things
Well,
are
for me,
very
again, I was in
important,
Okinawa, right? So
yeah, or you're in Okinawa.
yeah. So
like-
it's very inconvenient for me to to do.
okay, so we got
run property.
9%. We have $1,400
It was
between the
around
first and
1,400,
second.
yep.
They found tenants for you immediately.
Yep.
They put them in, and what was the rent?
So I was actually losing on this property. I was paying.
I'm so glad we hit this.
Yes,
so,
man.
So I was actually charging $1,300.
Got it.
So my wife at the time, we had one child at the time. She's like, she was pissed. She's like, why are we paying for
Yeah.
someone to live in a property of ours? Why don't
Yeah.
we charge more, right? And I've never been in the mindset of I'm trying to get over on people, right?
Yeah.
So I was okay with losing $100 a month
For sure.
right? And my wife, she's at the time she couldn't understand that concept, and I broke it down for her. I'm like, look, if I pay for the rest of the 30-year loan, right? If I pay $100 every month for 12 months, it's $1,200 times 300 is $36,000 that I'm gonna end up losing, right?
Yeah.
On a property that's worth 126, assuming it never increased value.
Yeah. If it just stayed.
Yeah.
So
stay.
I lose 36, so I'm making about roughly $90,000 equity once it's paid
If
off.
everything stayed.
So I invest 36, I get 90 in return.
Yeah.
To me, that's a good deal.
Absolutely.
Yeah, way to amortize that, bro. Absolutely.
Right.
And it's so important to break that down for our listeners and our watchers because, bro, property management's a write-off.
Yep.
Especially when you're talking about investment properties, right? Property management, all these different
The
fees
fees.
associated with
the
this.
depreciation of the property.
Interest,
Yeah.
all these
everything.
different things
Everything.
are write-offs.
Yes.
So this brings me into being the mortgage guy that I am. My brain starts spinning. I'm like, man, the unrealized income is where you truly build your wealth in life because Uncle Sam doesn't have his hands all in your pockets
Yeah.
on it. So a lot of people will sit back and shit on losing $100 a month or $200 a month, but show me where you can go out and buy a house for $200 a month.
Yeah.
If you bring me a house I can buy for $200 a month, that's worth, how much is it worth now?
It's actually $350.
Show me a house I can
What's
buy.
what's your loan
for-
at? How much
for-
do you own on that?
I have about $75,000.
Boom.
on it.
Look at that. The longevity of that mindset, dude,
Yes.
is exactly why we created this podcast
So
for
do
our
the math,
military
man.
listeners.
It's worth $370, right? You said.
Yeah.
370
And you owe what,
75.
dude?
About
look at the split
$300,000.
plus all the unrealized income that
Yeah.
you've seen. So
And
net worth, you build your net worth based on unrealized income so much faster.
Yes.
Than realized income. And realized income and unrealized income just means money that you're seeing, cash in the bank, cash that you're getting paid. Like if he was renting it for $1,700 and he was paying $1,400, that's realized income.
Massive, yeah.
Uncle Sam's going to take his cut and you're going to have a bad freaking day, right? But you have all the write-offs too. You have everything else.
Exactly.
It's going to make sense, especially for you military guys, man. Pay attention to the unrealized income because that's where you build your net worth. And Uncle Sam doesn't have his hands in your pocket. Plus, it's like getting a freaking massive raise every month
hell
without
yeah.
even seeing it.
100%.
You know what
I
I'm
mean,
saying?
and over time, right? Because the housing market changes, right? The rent went up.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I had a property manager. The property manager wants to raise rent.
Of
Why?
course,
Because they get more money.
They get more money.
Right. It's just, so there's some money they're invested into it.
So where are we at now? What's our payment on it now?
So 1575 right now. Actually, they're renewing this month, so hopefully it goes up.
That's the
this month.
rent?
Yes.
Okay, what's your payment now?
That's 12.
There you go.
I paid out the second mortgage because that was my
Yeah,
priority.
done.
That was like, let me get rid of the second
High
mortgage
interest,
first.
get it off.
How
Get the
long-
monkey off the back.
How long did you own the property until you were in the green? Until you were able to
Oh,
with that?
yeah, I want to say like 2 years.
Boom. Yeah, that's easy
That's
day,
easy.
man.
Done deal, man.
Done.
2 years.
So you're telling me you were in the red, $2,400 technically, and then after that, now to this
Yes.
day, you have $300. You turned $2,400 in debt
Yeah.
to $300,000.
Yeah,
Easy day.
Easy day, and that's one of your properties,
Yes,
man.
that's just
And you
one.
got an 80-20.
Yeah.
So you didn't put any money.
No. Oh, so that's a funny story about this. It's probably unethical, but it happened so many years
The
ago.
hand
I'll
raise.
I'll
Yeah.
say what really happened. So again, I'm in Okinawa, right? I'm in Okinawa, and the realtor, hits me up and say, hey, again, I never bought a property, so I don't even know the process behind
Yeah.
this, right? And he says, hey, I need a check for $500 of earnest money. I'm like, what the heck is earnest money? What the hell is this?
Yeah.
And he's like, it's basically like a promissory note saying that you're going to buy the house. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I'm going to sign
Good
the
faith.
house. Yeah.
Good
I'm
faith
like, I'm like,
deposit.
well, take my word, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Reality was, I didn't have $500 to give him.
Yeah.
That was the truth,
Oh.
right? But I'm like, look, I'm telling you, I'm
Oh.
going to buy the property. I had good
I
credit.
pinky promise, bro.
I did have good credit, right? So I'm like, look, my credit's good. Like, he goes, well, this is part of the process. I'm like, so quickly, again, that's when my mind started changing. I'm like, hey, you know what? I knew realtors got paid a commission. So I told him, I made it really simple for him. I'm like, hey, you pay the $500. Well, that's not how it works. I'm like, well, you're going to make a commission. You're going to either lose $500 on your commission or not getting a commission at all.
What a sender, Jimmy.
Right?
Dang,
So
man.
he's like, well, I can't do that. I'm like, well, I guess this is where our relationship
You
ends.
sure you wasn't a drill instructor, bro?
Yeah,
I
no.
know, that's what I'm saying.
Right? So then
You're gonna pay, you understand me?
He's like, we're not
Faster.
gonna move forward. Move forward with the deal, right? I'm like, okay, no worries. At the time, again, I wasn't really invested into it because I'm like, hey, I was just doing it just to do it.
Yeah.
He emails me like an hour later, says, hey, I already getting the check.
Nice. So
like, great.
no money down,
No money down.
no earnest money.
None.
What did the closing costs look like?
Honestly, I can't even tell you.
It was so insignificant that he can't even tell you what it was.
This is not the way to do it.
No.
Right? So,
no, this is the way to do it.
Literally, I love what you did.
yeah. I when I talk about impulse buying, that's what I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love
It was
it.
an
Yeah.
impulse, because I saw my boss had all this. I'm like, I want to be like him. Mm-hmm. Kind of keeping with the Jones mentality, right? I want to go buy me a property, and I did, but not really understanding what I was doing.
So with the
fortunate I got
write-offs,
lucky.
right? So let's go with the write-offs.
Yep.
With everything that you're doing, did you see an increase in your returns? It being active duty.
It did.
There we go.
It did.
So
and that's not like an LLC. It was just
You just bought a home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just as a property.
That's it.
I was renting out, so I
Yeah.
was able to write off no fees.
So
and
when you
interest.
get money back, a lot of active duty service members, let's be honest, they're not in the craziest high, tax
Right.
bracket. So
Yeah.
they're getting money back at that tax time. You probably saw that increase quite a bit. So where you're lacking in
Yes.
at least the first 24 months, where
Yeah.
you're lacking in cash flow, you're seeing that come back at the
Yeah,
end of the year.
and again,
Yeah.
my wife would hound me about us paying the $100 every month,
Yeah.
right? But I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, in the long run, I'm gonna make it.
That's
out.
it.
So I'm like, I'm okay with it. So I just took the bus.
Love it, bro. So it's been since 06,
06, yeah,
and now it's 2022.
yep. So I'm about
14
4
years.
So
16 years.
16 years.
So you've been making
16
money
years.
for 16 years.
16
Yeah.
years, and technically 14, but I mean, the equity that you created in your home
Oh
since
yeah,
buying it
absolutely.
has been
And that's how I look at it.
tenfold,
Like,
man.
hey, every month we pay this. I'm making equity on this house.
That's it.
So the education piece behind purchasing a home. I talk to a lot of people who are active duty military right now. The process can be intimidating, but
can.
moving forward with it, I mean, kind of learning as you're going as well, it's doable for everybody, right?
It's extremely easy once
Yeah.
you understand it.
Yeah.
Right. It's the unknown, right? Like what happens next? Again, like the earnest money. I didn't know what the heck that was, right? But once you understand like these things that take place, it's like tying your shoe. You don't even think about it. You just put it on right out the door, and you're doing it as you're going.
Yeah.
And it's subconscious. You're doing something effectively, right? That you just don't think about it.
I love
So
that,
let's
man.
give them something real quick, man. So out of everything that you've experienced throughout your military career and your home buyer career, right? Let's be honest, you have a few now. What do you think the best resources for somebody who's just getting into real estate? What do you think the best resources are? Hit them with a couple things.
I think the first one's a mentor. That's like by far the first thing. If you don't know what a VA loan is, if you don't know what a bank is, or what a credit union is, if you don't know what an ATM is, find yourself a mentor.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the things that you don't know, they're gonna fill those gaps for you.
I love it.
They're
bro.
gonna ask you questions. Hey, think about this. Think about this.
I used to tell the kids on recruiting duty and the parents, I used to say, hey, they'd say, well, here's my questions, blah, blah, blah. And I say, do you have any more questions? They say, no. I'm say, okay, now I'm going to answer all the questions that you didn't know to ask.
Oof, that's nice.
So
Yeah.
what I implore everybody watching and listening to do is ask someone, find somebody who seems savvy in real estate and say, hey, what questions am I not asking?
Yeah.
Hit me with those, because those are the quick tips. Those are the things that are the golden nuggets.
And a lot of times, once you're doing certain things, right, people tend to ask the same questions.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And what catches people like me, at least catches me off guard, is when they ask me a question I've never heard of. I'm like, that's a really good question.
There you go. I experienced
nice.
that a
I'm so
lot.
It
glad
can
you
be
asked that.
redundant. It can
Yeah.
be, but at the same time,
Yeah, absolutely.
you're creating a footprint. You're helping so many people
But
out.
the minute they ask me that question, I'm like, okay, this is an outside thinker.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? This is someone that's not just thinking just like everybody else. They're thinking like, what can I do different?
I love it.
Or let me ask a different question.
So a mentor.
The first thing is a mentor.
Second
thing is, I think you have to have certain connections, right? Outside your mentor, with people in whatever industry you're going to go in. If it's real estate, a realtor, a loan officer, an appraisal, electrician, a plumber.
Yeah.
I mean, the list goes on and on, right? Whatever industry they're going in, but definitely if it's real estate, they got to find those people that they just know.
Dude, and it's so easy these days.
Oh
It's
my
so
God.
easy.
Super
We have
easy.
social media.
Yeah.
Back in the day,
Super
we didn't have
easy.
all that.
No.
I know.
No.
Bro, we had flip phones. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like we
Yeah.
had Nokia, the
Nokia.
brick. Oh, bro, you could knock somebody
Rotary
clear out with
dialers.
that thing. I flipped my truck one time and had one of those sitting on the seat, and it shattered my windshield when it hit it. The thing is,
I was about to
beast.
say, I've never seen a Nokia. You could drop it from a plane.
Yeah.
Oh
No.
yeah, dude, they're a deadly weapon.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think social media nowadays, it's such an empowering tool that we don't use it effectively. We use it.
Scroll.
Well, not only that, but I
mindlessly.
think we use it to try to impress people.
Yeah,
Instead of,
yeah.
how do I use this to leverage me and get me to where I want to be, right? So I think
So
that's-
creating a network to find consummate professionals.
Absolutely.
Yeah, massive is two.
and
And
then,
it's easy as just typing in at the top of the search bar, right?
Yeah.
Type in
Yeah.
appraiser,
Yes.
Temecula.
Yes.
100%.
Like, type in whatever.
and,
Something.
and
will
on
come
the
up.
same lines, you guys are like what are the resources? I think the internet's the number one resource
For sure.
Now I can ask you for, hey, what's the process for this? I can go validate this stuff online.
That's
Yes.
so true.
You know?
You have a sense of
Insane.
reassurance with that
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Absolutely. There's ways to validate information. It's kind of like boot camp, right? People are like, how's boot camp? Well, now kids, before they even ask a recruiter or talk to a recruiter, they've already searched it. They've already looked for it. Like,
Yeah.
hey, what is boot camp like? What is the Army boot camp?
YouTube
There's probably
University,
kids
baby.
in boot camp right
Yeah.
now that are
Yeah.
vlogging about their boot camp
Bro.
experience,
Yeah, I think
dude.
the Army
Yeah,
does that.
yeah,
I think
bet.
they can have phones now,
Army
right?
Yeah,
can have
Army can have phones. Yeah.
So, but again, right? So all these resources, really, it's you're a fool
Information
if you don't
area.
fucking use it. Like,
Yeah.
it's there.
Dude, I love that you said that, and I really love that you said mentor piece, because a lot of people are afraid and they want to do it themselves. I don't know if it's a pride thing,
And it
but,
can be done.
but not.
It can be done.
It can
However,
be done,
you
but-
struggle and you're gonna fall in a lot of hurdles.
Dude,
that
not
others have already
so
done that.
true, man. I posted recently about that. Like, ask for help. Why is it so far
Yeah.
above us to ask for help these days?
Ego.
Dude,
they think,
it
oh,
is that, yeah.
I show up as weak
Yeah.
if I ask for help, or I don't need anybody. I can do this myself. I'm a big, tough man. Dude, who cares, bro? Yeah, if I have you here, Trev, and I know that you're a wholesaler and that you wholesale houses and you have VAs and stuff, I don't have any VAs.
Yeah.
Why would I not reach out to you and say, hey, bro, where did you find your VAs? How do you do it? Dude,
Ego thing.
can you imagine the bridge that I just, or the gap that I just
Yeah.
bridged by just asking a question?
There's people, and usually the people that are successful want to make other successful people.
Yes, they
Yes,
want to
they
use
do.
themselves
People that
as a
struggle-
stepping
Truly
stone.
successful
People that
Yeah.
struggle do not want to help other people because they're struggling. Like, I'm gonna help
Massive,
this guy.
massive.
I'm gonna help this guy.
That's so
So
true.
people that are doing well want to share their knowledge.
Dude, my favorite thing. So the biggest portion of that is what I got from my mentor that I paid for happily was not recreating the wheel. You can expedite that process so much to be able to put yourself in the position for VAs and put yourself in the driver's seat right away. And when I'm able to have mentorships and my mentees, I have some that are slaying it. And I want them to brag. If I can use myself as a stepping stone to make you better, that is more fulfilling than making any type of money by myself.
So to stop right here, what he just said is so massively important. If you have to find someone who has the mentality where they want you to win.
Yes.
Yes.
Seek out
You need cheerleader. Yeah,
the
absolutely,
people
man.
who cheer you on and truly are, and going back to what you said in the very beginning, find people who are genuine. That is the key, because there are so many sharks in this industry, bro.
Now,
So many.
What's that? I'm full of quotes, right? But there's another quote that said, if you want to run fast, go by yourself. If you want to run far, go with someone or your crew, whatever it is.
That was me too.
Right.
Yeah.
That was you too.
It's also on his back.
It's also on my back. It's a little higher than my other
So,
trucks.
yeah, so like you gotta have a team behind you. You know,
Absolutely.
For that to work.
You're only as good
right.
as the people around you. I thoroughly agree. I get people like when I spoke, and it's so funny because I met him at Texas. We were at a speaking event together. We shared the stage. And speaking, I was supposed to talk about real estate and the flips that I've done and the novations I do. But what came out of my mouth initially was the fact that I have such a great woman by my side, because none of me being in front of an audience would have been possible without the team that I have and without her emotional reassurance
true,
to put
man.
me in that position. And
So
it just
true.
came out. And I'm like, damn. You
Because
know what I mean?
that's
Like,
genuine, bro.
Yeah.
That's what you align with, and that's your why.
Yeah.
So it comes out as genuine, bro. We don't have anything to prove up there. We just have to
So
say,
true.
hey, this is why I'm successful. So I love that you said that, man. I love that, you
So
speak
the
to
message
why.
here is what? Get a mentor.
Yeah, get a mentor.
Ask for help.
Get a mentor. Ask for help.
Stay away from
Reach out
Sergeant
to
Major
us.
Recon Marines.
Reach out to us. Yeah. So Jimmy, let's transition. You got your first home.
Yep.
How long after to your second?
So my second property I bought in 2019, so 13 years later.
13. Hell yeah.
13 years later. And the reason how I created a system really in my mind is I look at my disposable income, right? Because at this point, now 13 years into this house, my house had been making maybe in total, maybe 2 or 3 months out of 13 years,
Okay.
right? So I'm like, okay, that's not bad, but in that
really
1 or
good.
2, 3
That's
months,
solid, man.
I
That's
have
really
to pay
good.
that mortgage, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So I was looking at my disposable income. So, okay, if I get another property, can I make this mortgage payment if there's no tenant? If the answer is yes, then that's the hardest part to decide.
Game over. Yeah.
Once I know the answer is yes, I'm out there on a hunt.
Yeah.
And I'm looking, right? So in Okinawa, actually, back in Okinawa, actually, it's ironic. I bought both properties in Okinawa. Now that I think about it. But
You
back
must
in
got
Okinawa-
bored.
Yeah.
You get bored in Okinawa.
No,
You're sitting in the
but
tower
there's a lot of
like,
time. But I would tell you though, in Okinawa, I started some side hustles. Right, I was cutting lawns, so on and so forth.
Good man. I
Knew it,
love
right?
that, dude.
Side
Yes.
hustle,
Right,
You need those.
And I was chief warrant officer, right? And I had other chief warrant officers asking, like, "Hey, man, like, why are you doing this? Like, you get extra money, COLA, right? Cost of
Living allowance.
cost of living allowance, right? And like, you get COLA. Why are you doing this? I'm like, because I have goals. I have
Yeah.
plans, right? I have plans. And again, back to the ego thing. I didn't let my ego get in my way. I put that thing aside. I was cutting lawns for E3s, sergeants. I mean, you name it, whatever rank,
Yeah.
I was doing it, right? Because I was Jimmy the long guy. I wasn't chief warrant officer the long
Yeah.
guy, right? So I kind of put that aside, again, separating the two, right? So I was cutting lawns. I was saving money. And this house came up, which happened to be right next to my parents' house. To kind of capture the story, my neighbor, she passed away. My dad had been kind of neglecting the property for a long time. My dad would cut the yard, right, and maintain the property so that the city wouldn't give her citations and fines or whatever. So the backstory behind that, I went on leave. I bumped into her, said, "Hey, I know you've been neglecting the house. You've been staying with your aunt. Is there a way I can buy this property from you?" She goes, "No, but once I'm ready to sell, your family will have first priority."
That's awesome.
I'm like, cool.
Nice.
I kind of left it alone. Kind of the prospecting, right? Leave it alone.
Yeah.
Just come back and talk to it. But fast forward, she ends up passing away, unfortunately, and her niece inherited the house. And she's like, "Hey, my aunt wanted you guys to have first
Wow.
dibs."
Wow.
So the house was just destroyed. I mean, there was trash. I mean, it was just a mess. So her and we came to the agreement, 25,000 cash.
My God,
right?
dude.
So I'm like, 25,000. I'm like, done. I already had the money in the bank. I'm gonna just do it, right? So me again knowing the knowledge and the process, I immediately jumped on Dallas County, tax assessors.
Yeah.
Is there any property tax owed on this? 22,000 was
I'm about
owed.
to say, any liens against that bad
He
boy?
needs 20, and that's the only one that I can see, right?
Yeah.
Because the tax, right? So, and luckily for me, Dallas County is public records. I can look up,
Yeah.
properties, left and right. But I looked it up, and I knew it was 22,000. So, to grease the skids a little bit, I called her. I'm like, "Hey, if there's any money owed, any liens on the property, it needs to come out of the 25,
Yeah.
right?" She's like, "Hey, that's fine. Whatever money is owed, we'll take it out of the 25. Whatever's left, I will just keep." So she walked away with like $2,000.
Wow.
And I essentially just paid off the tax lien, essentially.
Well, that was her problem and
Yeah,
her encumbrance
yeah,
anyway.
absolutely.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
'cause
you
it's
solved
not
the
like
problem.
you did anything
You solved
grimy.
a
No,
problem.
because she had to pay it one way.
For sure.
One way or the other, it had to be paid. So so she's like, yeah, whatever it takes. So
Like it.
once we closed the deal, I again Okinawa, I signed everything,
Yeah.
sent it over, and then that was in January, end of January, that summer of 2019, right before I went to Miramar. I checked in to get my BA started, right? And then I took 20-some days of leave. And every day I was in this house working.
Yeah.
Every day. I would wake up, go to the house. Wake up, go to get my parents' house right next door. So that's how I ended up buying my second property.
Love it, bro.
And it rented out immediately. So if you're from Dallas, if you're familiar with Dallas, from Pleasant Grove, primarily Hispanics, in Black community, I'm working the house was like trash, it's like crap, and people were coming in like, hey, are you gonna rent or sell? Are you gonna rent? Like just constant.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna rent. And like, okay, well, can you write my number down once it's done? So I already had a list of prospects
Nice.
before I
Yeah.
even got done with this house. Like the bathroom looked like from a movie scene. It's just horrendous, right? Horrendous.
Yeah, like Saul.
Yeah. And like,
That's where they filmed it, actually.
funny, and I'm telling you, it's bad. It was that bad.
Oh man, there was
So-
like blood.
No,
I'm
there
just kidding. I'm
wasn't.
just
Not that I know of, right? But I can tell you that as I'm I haven't built this list. I'm almost done with the house, and this lady comes by, and she's like, "Hey, are you gonna be renting or selling?" I'm like, "I'm gonna rent." She's like, "Oh, are you gonna run a credit check?" Right? I'm like, "Well, of course, yeah, I gotta do a background check and so on,
for sure.
typical stuff." I was gonna manage the property myself because my parents are right next door. They can kind of keep an eye on
Very
the house.
local in your
Yeah,
backyard.
Right,
Yeah.
so I was gonna manage it myself, and she comes to me and says, "Well, you know what? I don't have credit." She's a Hispanic lady. In my mind, without telling her, I'm like, "You're the one I'm looking for," because where I grew up, I knew they were homesteaders. They move into a house, they're not going anywhere.
Never vacant.
They're not gonna make
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And more importantly, she has been so good with the property. She'll say, "Hey, can I remodel the closet? Can I
Yeah,
do this?"
yeah.
Out of her own goodwill.
They make it theirs.
because she wants to make sure that
Yeah.
I'm happy because she doesn't get kicked out of the house.
Tell them about
Man.
your rental increase story.
Oh, so I'm renting the property, for $1,200 a month.
This one.
Yeah,
Okay.
the second
The one they
right?
bought for $3,000.
Yeah, basically. Right? So I'm renting it for $1,200 for the first year.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, this house doesn't have AC unit.
Wow.
I mean, it has window units, right? It's
Okay.
like
no central.
Yeah, no
AC.
central
no
AC, yeah.
duct work. I mean, it was
Yeah.
built in the 1950s, right? So none of that was in the house. My parents has it, because they remodeled it and stuff. But this house doesn't have anything, like nothing. So anyway, so I'm at $1,200. She's like, yeah, I'm in an apartment. I'm paying more than that.
Yeah.
I want to be
Easy day.
convenient, privacy, so on and so forth. And I knew she wasn't going anywhere, so $1,200. So fast forward a year later, it's time to renew the lease.
For sure.
And and my mom like, how am I gonna break this to her? I'm like a little nervous, right? Because normally my private manager does all this stuff for me.
Yeah.
So I'm a little nervous about renting the rent, but I sent her a text. I'm like, hey, and in Spanish, but hey, I gotta talk to you about the rent. She calls me immediately, so I knew she was concerned,
Yeah.
right? So, excuse me. So I she's like, oh, I know you're gonna raise the rent. Like I understand. I was expecting you to raise the rent. I'm just kind of concerned, this and that, right? So, and she's like, well, how much more are you gonna raise it? I'm like, it's gonna go from $1,200 to $1,300. She goes, oh, you're fine. Oh, okay, great. Thanks. And that was it. And I'm like, man, I could have raised it more.
Yeah. I could have got 15.
Yeah, in her mind, I think she's probably expecting like 15.
Yeah.
Right. But it wasn't the case. And the reason why I was going to raise the rent because I ended up putting an AC unit in it. So good deal. I ended up paying like $7,000 for an AC unit.
Not bad.
Duct work.
That's not
electrical
bad at
work.
all, dude.
No, it was a good. But again, it's someone that she knew.
Yeah. Oh,
She's
okay.
like, hey, I know a guy that knows a
Oh,
guy,
she's
right?
plugging you in,
Yeah, yeah.
man.
So again, she wants to take care of the property,
for
right?
sure.
So
It's her place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
so
legit.
that's how I ended up raising the rent. So
Love
come
it.
here this new year, I'm gonna raise the rent again, and I'm gonna tell her, I'm like, hey, it's going to 13 or 1450 for 2 years, or we can go 1400 for one more year, and then the next year we'll see what happens.
We have to think too. I mean, cost of living.
Yeah, absolutely.
Inflation,
Yeah,
everything.
yeah,
Of course,
else.
but-
of
but-
course.
but-
That's
but
what's
that's
going on.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Here's the thing,
That's
right?
why she was expecting it to go.
So
yeah.
her lease says no subleasing. I know for a fact she's subleasing.
Yeah, man.
I'm 100%
Yeah.
certain because my parents live there.
For sure.
I know she's subleasing. Do you think I care? I don't.
Nope.
Dude,
At the end of the day, she's paying me on time.
They're taking
She's
care of the
happy.
property.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Never vacant.
Sublease it all you want. I don't care.
Dude,
Yeah, I love it, bro.
Yeah.
So the moral of the story is the sale starts at no.
sublease.
Sublease. Offset your mortgage, sublease. So the
Airbnb,
sale starts at no, bro. Because
Yeah.
if you would have just shied away from having that conversation, that hard conversation as being a landlord and managing your own property, you know, you could have got yourself into a pickle. But at the same time, I learned on recruiting, dude, this sale starts at no.
Yeah.
So have the hard conversation. Have it, because it might go off better than you
Yeah,
thought.
absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
I dig it, man. I really like it. I appreciate you sharing those stories with us.
Yeah, man.
Dude, I want to talk to you about what's going down in the world right now.
From yesterday, what Mr. Powell said.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Are you aware? As a
current
property,
events.
as an investor, this is going to be great news for you to kind of hear what's going on
We
in the
hit
market.
current events. We try to hit it. You know, we're going to hit it every
Yeah.
week. Stuff that's going down in
So
the market.
fill me in,
Stuff that's
fill
going
me
down
in.
in the. I call it the economy.
Economy.
Going down in the economy. Dude, Powell came out. Chair Powell came out and started talking about the market, right? He started talking about inflation. He started talking about the federal funds rate and raising it. He's pretty hawkish, let's be honest, about raising rates and creating some pain for the average American or for people who live in America. Dude, we are going to see a pretty gnarly recession because as the cards fall, this is how it works. As the Fed raises their overnight rate, it costs more for banks to borrow money.
Yep.
So, contrary to popular belief, it doesn't actually affect mortgage interest rates. Normally, it doesn't affect them negatively.
Yeah.
Normally, it affects them positively when they do that. And here's why. Because when they raise the overnight rate, things like student loans, which, Jesus Christ,
Yeah, I know.
don't get me started on that.
What was our forgiveness that we just got?
Forgiveness that who got? You mean the money that I just took on for everybody who freaking is
I
not going
agree.
to pay off?
I agree 100%. I agree, but in doing so, I mean, that getting raised up right now just adds more to our national debt, which people don't really think about, which means that borrowing money against that is
It's not a
exactly why it goes
forgiveness,
up.
bro. It's a distribution to everybody who didn't have student loans.
Yeah.
Anyway, this
I digress.
I digress. So this dude was pretty hawkish, man. He came out and said, "Hey, here's how it's going to work. When they raise interest rates, federal funds rate, they raise it 75 basis points. That does not mean mortgage interest rates are going up 75 basis points. It means that student loans, car loans, personal loans, things like that go up. They get more expensive, which decreases demand in the marketplace. As demand decreases, people spend less money. It's quantitative easing, right? Or quantitative tightening is what this is. So, in a sense, people stop spending more money, which creates businesses to now fail, creates them to slow down, which creates higher layoffs and more people getting fired, right? Or let go of, right? As they do that, those people lose income. So then they stop purchasing more. So it creates this compounding effect where the market really tightens up, money withdraws from the marketplace and the economy. And, bro, we ride this recession pretty heavy. As we see this recession move in full force, we normally are going to see interest rates on homes come down. So everybody who's purchasing homes right now or on the fence or scared to purchase homes right now because they see all these, things on the news, Yahoo, whatever else, talking about raising interest rates, doing this, doing that, bad time to buy, let the market crash. Bro, yes, do I recommend you be not cash poor in a recession? Absolutely, because you're going to pick up some pretty gnarly deals, but not always. Because interest rates are going to come down. So if you want to buy now, now's the time to buy.
I agree.
Get the home, build the equity, and then refinance.
Yeah.
I hate the term marry the price, date the rate or whatever. I freaking hate that. I heard everybody in the world saying that. I think it's cliche and freaking ugly.
I've never heard of that.
But
That's also tattooed on his back.
Right? Yeah, I got that higher than the other two on my back. But dude, I hate that. I think it sounds kind of goofy, but it's true. Like, get the home, build the equity. I mean, you've seen it over the last few years. Your equities went up quite a bit. And then refinance, bro. Refinance. Like, it's so easy. I tell people, you got a year and a half tops before you can refinance. You're going to save $200, $300, $400, $500 a month. Do it, bro. Don't be scared to do it.
And that's what kills you, right? Is that people get concerned about like recessions and stuff. When I bought the first house in 2006, the housing market crashed a few months later.
Yeah.
Right. But again, it was a brand new home, subdivision. I never went upside down on the house. Ever.
Love it, bro.
Right. I was lucky. But I would tell people that even in today's market is that if you do that now, it has to come back. It's going to come back.
Yeah.
Right. And more importantly, you take advantage of the interest rates.
Absolutely.
Maybe right now it may hurt for another 6 months or so.
Yeah.
But once it happens, you refinance.
So
you
let's
make out.
let's talk about the rates real quick then for you, Matt. I mean, because I have this right now. I'm shopping with 3 buyers, and they're very aggressive first-time home buyers, and I love the fact that they're aggressive because they understand the longevity of their purchase. So when you buy a home, and let's just use VA for our listeners. When you buy a home, how long do you have to wait until refinance? So let's say you get locked into a rate at like what, 5% right now?
I can't quote rates.
Okay,
man.
okay. I'm gonna
I have
hypothetically
to talk about the exact scenario, FICO scores,
Okay.
everything before I can quote a rate.
But how long do they have to wait in order to refinance? And what are the benefits of refinancing, just to break down that side for people who want to purchase the home
On a VA loan?
on a VA?
So 210 days from the day the first payment's due. So if they close in September, which, let's be honest, they would have to get under contract like right now.
Yeah.
So let's say they close in October, then December 1st, their first payment will be due. The date, what I tell people is the date that first payment posts to your account, 210 days from then,
Perfect.
you can refinance that property, which is pretty gnarly because, dude, it's like what, 7 months?
Yeah, 7, 8. Yeah,
7 months, somewhere around there. And if we see interest rates come down drastically, dude, 7 months
Exactly.
of a rate that's, and let's be honest, dude, even where they're at to where they are or where they're going, if it's $200 or $300, mow some freaking grass. You know what I'm saying? I think the moral of the story is find a side hustle.
Always.
And dude, we were selling. You know them shits that set in people's backyards for like little kids, like little tykes playhouses.
Yeah,
the plastic
I remember you
ones and
telling me
stuff?
about this.
Dude, we were like flipping those
Yeah.
in Jacksonville, North Carolina, outside of Lejeune. People would literally almost give them away on Lejeune yard sales. We would get them for like $20. I would go pick them up, come home, clean them, scrub them, dude. Clean them up, make them look really nice, take professional pictures of them, post them, sell them for $200, $300, $400, $500 a piece.
Boom.
And we would do that. We'd let our kids play on them for a week. I'd clean them up, get a new one. Boom. Sell it, go buy another one. And we just kept increasing our cash flow on them. So it wasn't sexy at all. It was, it was like little tykes, like little stupid toys. Those stupid toys funded me getting into other ventures.
Yeah.
It really increased my lifestyle as a corporal, lance corporal, whatever I was at the time. So anyway, man, back to current events. Fed Chair Powell came out and talked about being pretty hawkish on there will be pain in the economy, right?
Economy.
So we have to prepare for that, man. We're going to see layoffs. We're going to see, easing or tightening of funds in the marketplace. But the bigger thing is the freaking student loan debt, man. The student loan debt just eats me up.
That kind of reminds me of these stimulus checks that we got, right?
Yeah.
People are like, oh, happy about it, right? And I'm like, it's an
face palm.
advance. It's
Face
an
palm.
advance.
We
I'm
printed like a third of our money.
yeah, I'm like, you're gonna pay this back one way or another. Like the government is not 100% free. Like,
Nothing's free.
Uncle Sam's gonna find a way to.
Yeah.
It may be free for you.
Or how about the child credit thing that they gave per kid, and now and then they tax you on it?
Yeah, I know.
People don't understand these things, so it's important that we talk about it. Man. It's
Yeah.
important people get the knowledge out there, because if you went and spent that money instead of investing it into something smart, guess what? They're coming for it. Like there is no free way out of this other than like just straight up playing the system and doing whatever. Which, let's be honest, dude. Hard work is going to get you so much further. Smart work is going to get you so much further than playing the system. You're just going to be a bottom feeder forever. So I can't stand it, bro. Don't be a catfish.
Government catfish.
But yeah, dude. What do you guys think about the whole student loan forgiveness thing?
Well, I mean, I'm going back to
Oh,
what.
Jesus Christ, here we go. No,
I know.
He's like, well,
No,
they actually took mine.
Yeah, no. I've been enrolled in like the same college onboard class for like 3 years, so I haven't done any yet. I almost used my BAH as this golf academy here in Temecula, where I thought might be good. I mean, BAH, they'll cover it, man. Who knows?
Man.
Yeah, what I thought about initially is a lot of investors who I touched base with yesterday when that news broke was they have massive portfolios, and in doing so, their return on investment or their ROI drops significantly on their cap rate. And so what they want to do is they want to start offloading properties from their equity and move that over into the stock market, like something simple like bonds during a recession, which is going to create a fall, when it comes down to our prices, because I mean, it depends on the state, but investors sometimes make up a third of the state when it comes down to buying homes.
For sure.
Which blows my mind. So if they're offloading massive portfolios, I can list those homes and try to get a buyer in there, but that's just going to create the buyer to get scared and think they're going to catch a falling knife. So it's an endless cycle of doubt in the market right now. So I'm not a fan. I'm definitely not a fan.
But again, kind of sales, right, is you got to create the value behind
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
You got to make people see the value behind buying it.
Agreed.
Regardless of what the market's
Agreed.
doing. You you got to see the value in it. And again, in my first initial property, I was losing $100, but I saw the value in it, right? My wife didn't, I did, right? And you got to see, once you see value in something, it's easy to say, you know what,
Yeah.
I don't care what's going on the outside. I see the value here, and I'm going to make it work.
So one of the things I saw online yesterday is a guy said, "Hey man, since they're forgiving student loan debt, can I get my GI Bill to cash?"
Yeah,
Too.
yeah.
we paid the debt right already. I mean,
Yeah.
pretty much, or,
Yeah.
or we've
Yeah.
it's not cashed in yet. Can we get it in cash? Like how does that work? You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna happen, but hey man,
Yeah.
it'd be nice, right?
It's gnarly. It is. So the two that you had, and we'll wrap some stuff up. Talk about, because you have a beautiful home in Temecula as well.
I do have a house.
Purchased through the VA.
Through the VA. That's the first house ever through the VA.
First house. So you got two
Ever.
homes without the VA. First house with the VA.
Zero down.
Zero down.
Yep.
Did you wrap in your closing costs?
Yep,
or did,
everything.
wow.
So he had,
Zero,
the
zero
sellers pay the closing costs for him,
Yep.
so that he's again into a home with nothing out of pocket.
You also had the realtor pay for his EMD again.
No, I did not actually. But I ended up getting like, I don't know. 'Cause I use Navy Fed. Shout out to Navy Fed, I guess.
Nope.
Nope. But I used them, right? I got pre-approved, whatever, and they gave me like a credit for using one of the realtors. Like I look at the realtor at the time, like I didn't care who it was. Like
Yeah.
I even knew the property where I was wanting to live. I'm like, I even found the property for the realtor. I made it really
Yeah.
easy for the realtor.
Project Valor does that too, and it's better.
Bada boom, bada boom. Same with Brokers in Arms.
But so yeah, so I ended up doing the VA loan, zero down, like zero money out of my pocket.
Love it,
and then
bro.
it worked. Yeah, now my first VA home property that I have.
In California. All the
California.
first one in California. The
I
other
bought-
one's in
I bought
Texas.
this one for a $450. I wanna
What's it
say.
worth now?
I think it's like $670. I looked
Yeah.
at it like about a week or two ago.
And what year did you buy it?
2019. Right.
3 years.
Yeah, so
Quarter mil.
in a year, 2019, I bought two houses. Bought this one and the one in Texas.
So,
So
out
let-
of,
Last thing, bro. This is the last thing I have about that. So between the three houses, all the appreciation, all the amortization from you paying down your loans, where you're at on your spread, what's your net worth on the three houses?
that's exactly what I was about to ask.
So I made a promise to my wife that I was going to die a millionaire. I'm pretty damn close.
There it is, baby boy. Good man, dude. I love that.
Without giving too many like stats, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty damn close to it.
That's phenomenal.
That is the power of real estate while on active duty.
But I would tell you though, now that I'm this close, there's no difference. Right?
Yeah,
you don't feel any different.
yeah.
And honestly, $1 million is not a lot.
It is not
Nope.
a lot.
It is not a
No.
lot. People think like, oh man, because again, with that mentality, we're such close-minded people sometimes that we're like, oh, $1 million, it's, yeah, a millionaire. That's not a lot.
Yeah.
No,
You know,
bro.
once we're in the billions,
Boom.
then I might say, you know what, I did it right.
Now I'll go splurge.
Yeah.
But what I'm hoping what I did is that my parents were never millionaires,
Hmm.
right?
Pass the torch.
But I created now a
kids.
foundation to
Yeah.
my kids say, you know what, I want to be better than my dad,
That's it.
right? I want to be better than my parents.
Generational wealth,
so-
man.
so-
Well, they
that's
also
what
have
I'm
your
shooting
brain
for.
to pick, bro.
Oh,
yeah.
That's the mentor.
But,
Yeah,
but you know
there
what?
it is.
There it is.
So I have 4 kids, right? My youngest recently just picked up the habit of recycling cans. She realized
I love that.
behind every can it says 5 cents. Dad, what does that mean? I'm like, oh, when we go pay, the price you see on the shelf plus 5 cents per can is what we pay. And they're hoping that we will recycle, kind of, you know, it's an incentive for us to
As an
recycle,
incentive, yeah.
right? And then she's like, but we throw cans, and Trevor been to my house. We drink a lot of soda in my house, right? And we throw cans away. She's like, well, why are we throwing them away?
Yeah.
I'm like, because we just don't want to go. It's inconvenient, I guess,
Yeah.
to go recycle. She goes, well, can I recycle? Yeah,
Send
Love it,
it.
man.
by all means.
Send
There it
it.
So
is.
now
How old?
she's 10, right?
10 years
10.
old, entrepreneur.
I know. All 4 of his daughters are
my
so
point,
smart, dude.
But my point was that I had 4 daughters, right? And I've done like, I'm on phone calls, I'm on training and
Yeah.
so on and so forth on Zoom calls. And none of them have asked me, hey, Dad, how do I do that?
Yeah.
And nor do I say, hey, come sit down. I'm going to show you
Yeah.
how to do this. Because I believe that it needs to be something in their heart, in their soul that says, you know what?
It'll
I want to go
happen.
do this.
It'll happen.
So by me just virtually doing it, no, they know what I do. They, you know, like this morning, hey, Dad, where you going? I'm going to go do a podcast, you know, and so on and so forth. And then, okay. And to them, that's what Dad does. You know,
Yeah.
that's his thing. He does that thing. There's no harp, no
Normalize being awesome.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Normalize
Hell yeah.
entrepreneurship.
Yeah, I
love
Normalize
that.
thinking outside the box.
Yes.
But I honestly think that you have to have it in you. You have to have that mindset and the grind in you. Otherwise, if someone that wants to go buy a house, yeah, go buy a house and flip it and do whatever.
Yeah.
But if it's not in you,
Well, not everybody's
it's-
going to be a chief, bro. There has to be Indians.
100%.
Has to.
100%.
You know?
I tell people, like my kids, like, Dad, do I need to go to college? I'm like, no, you don't.
But the difference between those kids that you have and other kids is they at least see it. Pandora's box has been opened.
Well, I'm
They
honest
see
with
it.
them, like you said, right? I tell my kids, don't go to college, don't go to trade school, don't do something.
Mm-hmm.
However, just know that someone has to be in the drive-thru to McDonald's.
That's it.
Know that someone has to be the cashier at Walmart. Someone
Yeah.
has to put the product on the shelf at Walmart.
Yeah.
Right? Someone's got to do it. Someone's going to do it.
Yes.
The question is that going to be you? If the
I
answer
love
is
it.
like, Dad, I don't want to be me, then move
Ooh.
on. Right? You got to move on from that.
That's a clip right
then
there, dude.
Keep going with whatever your passion is. Again,
Yeah.
going back to passion,
Yeah.
right? Is someone's got to do it. So it's either going to be you or not you. Again, build your dreams, or someone's going to hire you to build theirs.
So,
Love it, bro.
so that's phenomenal, Jimmy. So, like touching base and kind of wrapping up everything, I want to talk about peak sales consulting. Then,
Yep.
I mean, the way that you speak is phenomenal. The education and value that you brought. You've done a bunch of campaigns and a bunch of events with me with Brokers in Arms. You've taught my agents online. You've taught them in person at our meetup events, which has been phenomenal. What is your vision with Peak Sales Consulting, and why would people want to reach out to you in order to kind of create what you envision?
So initially, I started this company. So let me backtrack. So actually, when Trevor was still in uniform, he would come to the office and we would talk and just spit ideas. And I have this guy, I can't close on him. I kind of just provide some pointers here and there. And he's one of many that I would do it with.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually, people started asking, like, hey, how come you do this for a living? Like a thing. I'm like, well, I never really thought about it. Because again, just natural, I care for people that are striving.
100%,
I want to help them. Again, going back to the helping thing,
Yeah.
I want to help someone succeed. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. See what happens. So I created the LLC back in January, this last January. I just got done making the visual and the voiceover and all that stuff. It just got done like last week. So I've been kind of putting things on pause because I was trying to get this thing going. But I'm going to start pushing this stuff out to where people can get free product, free knowledge, or buy some knowledge.
Love it, man.
And just kind of see where it takes it. But it's been evolving from that to also like mentoring, coaching
Yeah.
leaders, like leadership piece, right? I had a guy, he owns his own logistics company, Prior Marine, and we were just talking. Logistics is a little bit of sales, right? But for him, it's more because he's the owner. Like, how do I get my guys motivated about doing quicker routes? How do I get my guys doing this, right? And I'm giving him ideas, right? Suggestions. He's like, bro, like, you should like offer this part of your sales training,
Nice.
like senior leadership training.
Yeah.
Right.
Love it.
The how do I inspire my men, my workers, my employees to go out there and kill it?
Yeah.
Right. Forget the sales part. Just be happy about
Yeah,
showing up to work
yeah.
and be
You have to
productive.
Motivate 'em, man.
You have to have an alignment. You have to have
Right.
an alignment and,
Right.
and a why for the
So
company.
Absolutely.
I'm still focusing on the sales piece, right? But I'm not shying away from people, that are in the upper management level, saying, "Hey, if you want me to, we can sit down over. I don't got to charge you. I just want to just tell you what I think. Have you hear my thoughts, and then if you feel there's value, then we can consider me training
That's
your
it.
employees."
So yeah,
Plus, you never know who you're going to meet, bro.
I agree.
You never know who you're going to meet. You never know who's going to be a strategic partner to
Yes.
your growth, their
Yes.
growth, and who you can partner with and make money. Shout out to Jay Monopoly, man.
He'll be on the podcast soon.
That dude is a king broker, bro. He will meet.
He will
you to
bridge.
everybody
Yeah,
else, and
he's a bridge builder for
amazing at
sure.
it. So I learned that a lot from him too. But dude, I love what you're doing with that. Where can our followers find you again?
So Facebook, Instagram, peak PEAK sales SELLS. On Facebook or Instagram, same handle. No matter where you look at it. On Instagram, I have my phone. Both actually, my phone number, address, mailing address, and the link to the website. But again, I'm going to be publishing the content, the educational piece out soon. Just got to package it and make sure I put it in the right order, and then hopefully here in the next. My goal is June. I missed that mark. Which again we fail at certain things, right? Life happens. Again, this is not my primary thing, but it's my secondary income, and I'm really trying to push it in the direction that I'm trying to take it. So hopefully next month it'll be out.
I love that. And touching base real quick, for the audience, we'll put his information below as well. But I've been a mentee towards that. You know, my scalability all last year was I really wanted to be able to grow my brand and my business. And even though I'm real estate related and that's my industry, I know that you have homes, but your sales is setting a foundation, which is what I really liked, buying into the why, you know. And so when I had my agents and people that were interested during these meetups, even though you weren't geared directly towards that career, don't be afraid to reach out if it's towards a specific career, because laying that foundation and that groundwork is something you're very good at.
Well, the thing I tell people is that we sell
every day of our life.
Exactly.
The second you meet someone, you're
selling
selling them
yourself.
on you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll use this as an example, right? Trevor, shoots me a text, says, "Hey, I want to invite you to the podcast." He's selling the idea of me coming here. I have to buy in to this idea, right?
Yes.
Same thing with our spouses, right? I want pizza. I want a burger. We either compromise, and the key, what I tell people is, the key is to always sell and do more selling than less buying. We got to buy at some point, right? But we buy it on our conditions where we feel like we've are getting value behind it, right?
Yeah.
So again, let's say the spouse and the burger pizza thing, right? So my wife says, "Hey, I want pizza tonight. I want a burger." We compromise. I buy on my conditions, saying, "You know what? I'll do the pizza tonight, honey, but tomorrow can we do burgers?"
Yeah.
So I bought her product on my conditions, right?
Yes.
So the key is to always look at, and I look at everything in life now in that
100%.
aspect is, okay, am I buying or selling? If I'm doing more selling than buying, I feel like I'm winning more. I will win more.
I like it.
Right? So that's really what I teach. So again, kind of like Trevor's point, it's not necessarily real estate. If you're into selling, energy drinks, if you're into, selling cameras, mics, chairs, furniture, houses.
Sales is sales.
Yeah,
Sales is sales, baby.
It's
Sales
a
is sales.
people business.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's people
and we're in it
business.
every day. Everyone's in it.
Absolutely.
Every day.
There's transactions being made every day. The question is, are they being made with you?
Yeah.
Right? If they're not being made with you, if I sell water and everyone's buying water except from me, I got to look internal and say, okay, why am I not selling water? Everyone else is selling water.
So Peak Sales, Brokers in Arms, Project Valor. What else we got to talk about? We wrapping this up?
Might be wrapping this up, man. Jimmy, I thoroughly appreciate you coming on.
Of course,
here.
man.
Thank you.
You know,
brother.
you
It's a
dropped.
pleasure to meet you.
You've been dropping a lot of nuggets for our active duty and our veteran listeners. I think finding that mentor, going back into that, really networking and putting yourself into local meetups, or at least reaching out to one of us, is so crucial to at least get that first step and going. And remember, we don't have to. Remember, a lot of this nuggets that we want to do are completely free. I mean, you don't have to learn wholesaling or real estate from me. You don't have to buy a house with Matt. You don't have to go into the foundation for sales with Jimmy. But what you can do is you can lend an olive branch, put your hand out there and say, hey,
ask for help.
I would like to know where to start. And that's exactly what we want to do.
Mentor, network, side hustle.
Yes.
That's the 3 takeaways that I got from you today, man. And I hope that our listeners, our watchers, our viewers, I hope they pick that up clearly, because that's what's going to put you ahead of the race.
Yeah, I'm super passionate, brothers. I'm passionate about sales. Trevor. People that I interact with, I start talking about it. I get very energetic about it, just because it's something I love.
Yeah.
And again, recruiting kind of put that in perspective for me. I got a marketing degree for that reason, because I'm like, this is stuff I like. So again, for everyone out there, man, just whatever it is that you're doing, just seek some assistance. Someone's already done it. Someone's doing it. You got to find the right person to help you out.
Love it, guys. Woo! Saluting success. We're going to be dropping nuggets for you guys in the real estate, in the sales, everything that you can think of that's going to enhance your military career and beyond. Reach out to any of us if you need any help. You've got our handles. I'm sure Ethan's going to do a good job at dropping this stuff below. That way you can find us pretty easy. Anything else, fellas?
No, I think we're good, man.
No, man. Again, appreciate you guys having me on, man. Like super. I love this. I love doing this. I love sharing the knowledge. I love reaching out and touching,
Thank you, brother.
People out. And,
thanks for coming out, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Love it.
It's a wrap.
Fuck a pigeonhole. I'm a night owl. It's a different mode.